All right, 6 o'clock, time to call this meeting to order. If you call a roll, ma'am.
Mr. Clement?
Here.
Ms. Tingle? Here. Mr. Dunn?
Here.
Mr. Sherman?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Ms. Sonic? Here.
Okay, the first order of business tonight is we have a potential council member who has submitted it, or a potential council member who has submitted a letter of interest. His name is Neil Summers. I would like for us to go ahead and get anybody got any questions for Mr. Summers about why he would want to be on council? Neil Summers, Sommers.
Thank you.
Anybody got any questions for him?
Yes. Why do you want to be on council?
Well, I've lived in this town for roughly 20 years. I took a brief stint someplace else, came back. I'm raising my children here. I've seen this town in the past 20 years be really good. I've seen it be really bad. I believe we're kind of on an upswing again. And if I'm going to raise my family here and my kids are going to raise their family here, I want to see what I could do to help that and what we could do to better our community.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Do you mind just sharing a little bit about yourself?
I'm not very good at that, so if there's something you want to know, I'm more than willing to tell you. Briefly, I moved down here. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, grew up in a town called Orrville, Ohio. Moved down here to go to Hawken College. Left Hawken College, got recalled to the United States Marine Corps. I did 4 years in a combat theater on and off in Iraq and elsewhere throughout the Middle East. I came back to Nelsonville after those deployments. I currently work at Hawken Valley Community Residential Center, where I work with juvenile felons. I've worked with troubled youth through foster care agencies and for my employment for over 20 years now at this point. I started in that field at 22 years old.
What is your working title?
I'm the program coordinator at Hawken Valley Community Residential Center, which would be directly under the director.
Number 2.
Correct. And I've been there for 6 years in that position. I've held a leadership position for over half my life. I had leadership positions before I went to the military. I led troops in combat in Iraq, and I came home. I worked as a youth specialist for 1 year at Hawken Valley and took over building superintendent at that point, and then did that for 9 years, and in the past 6 years as program coordinator.
I wasn't privy to your resume, so could you tell me something that was not on your resume?
Oh, none of that was on my resume.
Oh.
He just submitted the letter.
I left it open for questions because I wasn't too sure what all you would want to hear.
So, in full disclosure, Mr. Summers, it is council is a rewarding position and also can be a curse position. In the past, we've taken on a lot of criticisms and stuff. Yeah, you're well aware, and we're moving towards a better place. And it's going to be hard, but there is a lot of criticisms that come. But at the end of the day, it's worth the job. So it's been hard.
I guess something that's not on my resume. I have thought about running for council plenty of times. Actually, when Tony ran, I went down and got my petition and was going to go get names and signatures. And I've been talked out of running for city council by multiple people.
Yep.
So I'm well aware of the targeting that goes on. I'm well aware that some council members in their past, their grandchildren have been targeted, their children have been targeted.
Yeah.
And I know that that's been troublesome, and I've got broad shoulders, and I think if you're working to do better, that's all we can hope for, and we can take the criticism along the way.
How do you know Tony?
Oh boy, I think I met Tony at Savings Hardware.
Imagine that. That's where I hang out at. You'll find me. I'm there.
Years ago,
Years ago.
and I've kind of known him ever since.
You're not related.
No,
No.
I'm not related to Tony, no. I have no immediate family in this area. My immediate family's from Orville, Ohio now. Everybody else outside that area is pretty much gone in Wyoming. So I normally go out to Wyoming and help on the family ranch in the spring and do the cattle roundup and do the brandings and stuff like that.
So are you coming in with some ideas for the council?
Well, I've got some questions for the council too. I hope I've got some ideas, but I don't know how we view Nelsonville as a council. I don't know what Nelsonville's idea is for everyone. I don't know what our thing is. What's our niche in Nelsonville? What's our community? That's something that I don't know how it's perceived in this room. I see a lot of good things in Nelsonville, but we got to capitalize on them. And I've learned this throughout, like I said earlier, I've been in a leadership position over half my life. When you take on a position like this, it's not just all about our ideas, it's about the city too and our community and what they believe we need to focus on, whether I believe in it or not. If it's good for the community and that's what the community wants, then we got to kind of work towards that. That's why we're here, that's why we're council.
So you'd come a few weeks ago to advocate for the baseball program, which is fantastic.
Yes.
But given your involvement with that, there may be times when you might have to recuse yourself as a council person.
Yes.
I'm assuming you're comfortable with that and prepared to do that when it's
Oh,
appropriate.
yes.
Just for everyone's knowledge, Neil is on the volunteer fire department roster for Nelsonville. He has been, I had Bob Toy look into it as soon as he put his letter in. There is no conflict of interest with that. The only thing that he possibly might have to do, the best thing to do is if anything comes up for the fire department, he'll have to abstain for that for right now. He has deconflicted it with his job, that there's no conflict of interest with his job in city council. That's what as soon as I got the letter, I contacted Bob because I knew he was a volunteer fire department. I just wanted to make sure that there was no issues with that. So I have a written legal opinion. Anybody can have it if they want it. So with that, any more questions?
Just a comment, I think your background would be a perfect fit.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? All right. With that, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Mr. Neil Summers to the open council seat.
Second?
Call the roll, ma'am.
Ms. Tingle? Yes. Mr. Duffy?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Sonic?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clement?
Yes.
Congratulations, Neil. Have a seat. Mr.
Thank you
Toy,
very much.
So he'll be sworn in.
he'll be sworn in today. Mr. Toy is going to be on his way over from Gloucester.
Okay.
He'll be there in about a half an hour. We'll have him sworn in. So,
I'm so glad you came
Oh,
forward.
yes.
right. So, okay. With that, I'd like to start the interviews. We're going to do those in the executive session, just like we've done in the past. With that, I'd like a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Duffy?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Sonic?
Yes.
Mr. Clement?
Yes.
Yes.